What up all, this is Justrobtech and this is the Subzero DB20 Broadcast dynamic microphone and this is the Subzero DB20. He's done it again. He's brought another exclusive review to the channel. And I didn't realise when I made the original DB30 review that I was going to be the only one on planet Earth to ever do a review on it. So I figured when they released another one and there was no other reviews for that either, I thought I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bring an exclusive review to Justrobtech. So I figured I'd do the Subzero DB20 like I did the original DB30. Now I can already tell from listening to this microphone, it sounds better than the DB30. They've obviously made some improvements to it. I didn't really like the DB30 when I did review it. There was like a very hollow, muddy sort of sound to it. And with this, I could tell from listening to my my monitoring, it has none of that issues at all. As far as the unboxing goes, obviously you get the microphone. It already has a yoke mount attached to it, and you obviously get a windsock with it. And you also get the specifications. Now the specifications are, it is a dynamic microphone with a cardioid polar pattern. It is a frequency response 40 Hz to 20 kHz, a sensitivity of minus 53 dB, a max input SPL of 135 dB, an SN ratio 78 dB, and it weighs 860 grams. And if you don't believe me, there's the specs. According to the specifications, it is an XLR only. I think someone's made an error at the warehouse, because in here I have the XLR USB and headphone monitoring version, which is usually an extra £10. So that model is £60, whereas this is usually £49.99. And I've got the more expensive version. So I'm quite happy about that. I did not intend to be doing a review of the USB version. I figured I would just go with XLR only and have it run through my PreSonus 26C, but we can test out the USB mode capabilities of the microphone too. The windsock is pretty good, very good quality windsock. I did also test this microphone out with the Rode WS20, but as you can see, it does not fit. So this is not a like-for-like dimensions of the pod mic. This is a bit more girthier, weighter, fatter, as you would say. So it's a bit more of a bigger size, so it won't fit the WS20. But obviously the windsock is pretty decent quality. What we're going to do now is going to test the microphone, how it would sound completely out of the box. Obviously, I've got my filters running at the moment for you to see, but we're going to do that test for you right now. Right, so this is the microphone completely out of the box with no filters engaged. I think the microphone running through my monitoring, I think it sounds pretty decent. Obviously, you can probably tinker around a lot with this. The yoke mount is very good quality. We're going to test out some plosives now, so Paul picked up Peter from the post office. They popped to the pub, they bought some pints, and they popped home and had themselves some pancakes. I tested out with the windsock. Paul picked up Peter from the post office. They popped to the pub, they bought some pints, they popped home and had themselves some pancakes. We're going to talk right into the microphone to test out that proximity effect. We'll talk to the side of the microphone. We'll talk to the back of the microphone. And now we're going to test out some touch the various microphone arm, boom arm to see what the microphone picks up, and obviously we'll tap on the table as well. And we'll talk right into the microphone to finish that off. So you're listening to the microphone now with all my filters engaged. I've got this sort of set up the same way I had with my Rode Procaster. So I've got more of a focus on the sort of bass roll-offs, as I did think this was a bit not as bassy as I like. So here's how the microphone sounds running with my filters. How do you think this sounds? We'll test out the plosives again. So Paul picked up Peter from the post office. They popped to the pub. They bought some pints and they popped home and had themselves some pancakes. And then we'll test it with the windsock again. Paul picked up Peter from the post office. They popped to the pub. They bought some pints. They popped home and had themselves some pancakes. So that's the microphone with all of the filters that I'm gauged. What we're going to do now is, as I have the USB version, we are going to switch to that and see what that sounds like running over USB. Right, so we've got the microphone running over USB now. It does show up on OBS on the inputs as microphone DBU. So we can see that this microphone would work over USB. And here's how the microphone sounds compared to running on XLR. I probably would prefer to use XLR mode, but I think if you're using this microphone with your phone, a tablet, console, laptop, or even your computer, and you didn't want to go down the audio interface route, this is how the microphone would sound running over USB. There is a gain dial on the back of the microphone, which I think maybe just used for headphone monitoring. I've played around with it and it doesn't seem to make any difference to the microphone. But over your headphones, then obviously that would control the audio levels there. And obviously with the USB input, you could just configure the sound of that through Windows or OBS. Here's how the microphone sounds over USB. What we're going to do now is we're going to wrap things up and give my conclusion and final thoughts of the Subzero DB20. So the Subzero DB20, what do you think? I think it sounds really good for the price. I would probably still go down the XLR only version. I wasn't really that happy with how it sounded over USB. But I think if you were strapped for money and you wanted to just get started with content creation, I think you'd be very, very pleased with the results over USB. I'm an XLR snob, so that's probably why I weren't really happy with how it sounded. But I think if you're going to go down the route of getting this microphone and a decent budget, but decent level of boom arm or even a microphone stand, and you wanted an audio interface but you didn't really have a lot of money left over to get yourself started, then I think you'd be quite impressed with the Fifine SE3. This powers the microphone very well, and I'm testing that right now. Here's how the microphone sounds running through the Fifine SE3. I think the microphone sounds very good out the box. I think it sounds even better once you've calibrated it and tinkered around with it to get the settings right. I'd be very happy to use this if I was going to be using it as a daily driver, especially if you're looking to get your first microphone and you just want to get started to make whatever content you want. I think you could easily use this for podcasts. I think it looks very, very nice. It clearly takes a lot of inspirations from the pod mic, but obviously they've made it a little bit bigger compared to how the pod now. Obviously, I thought it'd be a like-for-like compatibility with the WS20, but alas, that is not the case. But the windsock works very well too. I do think this sounds better than the DB30 from Subzero. So if I was looking at those two mics, you think, oh, you get it's more expensive. I kind of think this sounds better. I think it's way much more. I prefer the sound of this compared to the DB30. I wasn't really happy with how the DB30 sounded. It always had a kind of hollow sound to it, whereas this, they've obviously engineered it very well, and I think it sounds very, very good. And obviously, if you're trying to get yourself started in content creation, I think this and a very affordable audio interface from whether it be Fifine, Mayano, or even something secondhand, like you want to get yourself a secondhand Focusrite Scarlett or a Studio 24C, you'd be very happy with the combination of that. With the price of this microphone, the Fifine audio interface, and a decent boom arm, probably £120 or $120, and you're away. You're good to go. if you've already got yourself a decent web camera or even just using your phone, you'd be very happy to use it. So with that being said, do I recommend this microphone? Yes. For the price of it, I think it looks good, it sounds great. I think the microphone is really, really, really pleasing to listen to. And I think it looks good as well, doesn't it? You know, I think it's very much, I like the colour, the sort of darkish grey blue they've gone for. And overall, really, really happy purchase. So this has been the exclusive review of the Subzero DB20. You can get these from gearformusic.com. I'll put a link in the description where you can find these microphones. And if you want to see more, if you'd like this video, please drop a like. It helps out the channel. And if you want to see more, leave a subscribe, and hope to see you again. But thank you very much for watching, folks. This has been the Subzero DB20. I am Justrobtech. See you next time, folks.